Before we get started with the chat, I have something I want to tell you.
What's up?
I respect your musical tastes as being different and apart from mine, and I find them interesting. And I like that you find songs that you really like the song that we did today. And you bring it to me and bring it to my attention. And now I really like the song.
Thanks.
Because you showed it to me.
I like it a lot.
Thanks for encouraging me in your tastes in music.
Yeah. You've shown me so much. There's so much music that you're responsible for.
Both.
In my life.
Nice.
Yeah.
Anyhow, tell me about this Pixies song and how you found it.
Well, first things first, let's address the question that we, for some reason, could not address over YouTube comments last week on last week's
deleted my
shout
comment.
out.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
So the chord that I played in Glycerine, I think it was the
F suspicious.
Chord. It's the F sharp suspicious. It's an F sharp minor seventh is all it is. It's just like more of like a traditional, like, I don't know. I learned it as like a jazz fingering, but it's not. It just doesn't play like the fifth as the second note in the bar chord. It just deletes that one note. So
you're saying words to me, and individually I understand them, but together as
I'll try to answer it again this week. I had forgotten about it, but I tried to answer and I thought I had, and then I saw that there was a reply on it when I went back later in the week, and I looked and it was somebody else's reply to it. And I was like, what happened to my comment?
Yeah.
It might have been because I posted a link and maybe the YouTube didn't like that.
That's a thing sometimes.
I posted a link to the picture of the chord. And
that's a helpful link? Yeah. YouTube said no being helpful.
They're like, no, that's off-site. You can link to other YouTube videos, but not...
If there's a video on our site about it, then it's okay.
So
okay. I just wanted to make sure that folks weren't thinking we were ignoring them out there. But
no.
So the Pixies song, I don't know. It's very rare. It's very extremely rare that I will just be listening to things are happening in the background, and all of a sudden my brain zones in, like it laser focuses on something that's going on, and and enjoy it. I guess that's the caveat. And enjoy it.
Yeah, it's very rare for me too that I hear a song on first listen and then I like it. But then not only that I like it, if I'm doing something else and a song catches my ear to the point where I'm like, whoa, what's this? This is really good.
Yes. So this song I didn't hear by the Pixies to begin with. It was a cover of it. And I enjoyed their version, and they, of course, as a cover, they referenced the Pixies, gave credit. And so I went to go listen to the Pixies version. I just really adored it.
You're like, oh, wait, this is even better.
It was so
that's funny.
Interesting.
Yes.
It's just so interesting. And it was something that I actually couldn't do other things and listen to the song. Anytime I would have it, you would say, hey, play that song. What's that song again that you were listening to? And I'd play it, and literally the rest of the things in my brain would just shut down to pay laser focus to this song, which is a super rare thing in my life at all.
Yeah.
My brain is always on go.
Sure.
We lovingly refer to it as popcorn brain. Like there's a thought that's almost completely popped while another one's popping, which is...
You just need to slow down.
It's ADHD. It has nothing to do with slowing down. It's how my brain is wired. And, well, come on then. Okay. All right.
Cat for the shout out.
Jeez. Let's keep the tail out of the coffee, though, today. Yeah.
Behave.
Okay. Anyway, this is the one that likes to be weird.
Cause trouble.
This is Toodles. Yeah. Otherwise known as Chonk. He's gotten less chonky lately, though. But, so with my ADHD brain, it's really rare that I can just hone in on one thing and all the rest of the things in my brain are quiet. But this song did that for me every single time it's come on, and even while I sing it.
Do you think it's the subject matter, or do you think it's the...
No, what is the subject matter? Hey.
Wow, where is my mind?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Yes, then.
You're checking in with yourself.
Yeah.
So answer me this. Did you like the cover version better or the original?
Both.
You like them both?
Yeah, both. I do like to
hear an original artist.
I do. I want to hear what the original thought was. What was, I think of it like meteors falling to Earth. You know, who had the initial that falling star drop on them? What was the original thought?
Oh yeah, I like that too.
What was that original?
And I miss it when it's songwriters that write for an artist. Because I wonder what their original sounded like.
Yeah,
you know?
Inside of their mind. Because where is their mind? I understand what it's like, because when I write something just off on my own and then we come together to make a complete vision of the thing, sometimes I have a full vision of it. And as we're figuring things out, I can say, no, not that, go this direction. Or yes, that, continue down this road. But a lot of times I don't have a complete, clear vision, and we create together. But I know that I also steer your ideas. Like, we kind of rudder each idea. Yeah, exactly.
And I think the best songwriters have somebody like that, to me, in my opinion. Maybe, I think of, like, the biggest and best bands of all times, like the Beatles, Lennon and McCartney.
Yes.
Like, especially in the early years when they worked more together. Later on.
Okay, buddy.
Later on, they each did their own thing, and they maybe didn't work together as well, or whatever the situation was. But then it's like Roger Waters and David Gilmour.
Yes,
they did their best.
And there was
together,
some contention there too between them.
There's always like a little bit of a rub, and because people see things about it, but they're both passionate and they have differing opinions on how things should happen.
Which we've had to learn how to navigate because...
Of course, being in a relationship
exactly.
has to mention that, because I can't just go home, can't get in my own car and drive to my own house. So, but it's also, I think, very interesting to listen to covers versus originals and the argument which is better. And it's not even what's better, which person prefers what. And I like my covers mostly two ways. One with a subtle twist of the artist's own perspective, or just wildly different, maybe where it's like, it's a song reimagined, and songs like that would be Black Magic Woman by Santana versus the Fleetwood Mac version. It's like it went from a blues song to, you could argue it's still a blues song, but it's wildly different. And it's like a reimagination of the song. And we have songs like that we perform live that are very much different than the originals. But then we have some that are just subtle nods or little twists that we like to do to bring our own introspection into it. And, I don't see the value in trying to sound like the record. It is an art form in and to itself, because it's very hard to do.
Yeah.
However, I'm an artist and I want to create my own thing as well.
Yes.
And also, why would I go listen to somebody else try to emulate the record exactly? I would just listen to the
it's a different sort of talent. I think that in my mind, I kind of liken it to the artists that can recreate the great artists of the past, right?
Right.
So they can do the same brushstroke and create a recreation of, like, Monet.
Years ago, I read things about that too, and they actually hire these painting teams to because they exactly
emulate it. They do the brushstroke or the knife stroke.
I think some museums actually put on display
the replicas,
if I'm not mistaken, because they used to, maybe back when art heists in theory was a bigger thing. Now it's like every place you go is a camera, and some of the stuff is so hard, and they have glass walls that will come down in within a 16th of a second, and all sorts of crazy security measures. But I remember reading how they would hire people to emulate the brushstrokes, like you said, and they would recreate it. But not only that, to repair paintings.
The reparation is a big deal.
They would learn how to mix the paint,
the pigments.
And it's very much like the music.
Yeah.
You learn how to have the sound of the guitar, and how you do the vocal inflections,
same tone, and that same.
It's very interesting that it is an art form in and to itself.
It is.
But to me, that was that's an early art form. It's like I never really got into photorealism as painting, which is where basically your painting looks like a photo. And so,
I think it's amazing.
It's amazing. I look at it, and if you can't tell the difference between an actual painting and a photo, that is incredible. However, the emotion that it makes me feel is no different than a photograph at that point. And
I don't know.
I would not hang in my house. Like,
okay, hold on. Let me ask.
I like my favorite painters have always been impressionists, and that's how I lean as a musician.
Artist, yeah.
I would rather throw broad strokes in a guitar solo that maybe bring up the essence of Jimmy Page or the essence of Jimi Hendrix or the essence.
That makes
of
a lot of
Garcia,
sense, actually. Yeah,
but not yes. In certain cases,
single hairbrush stroke.
In certain cases, there has to be a delineation also of where do you draw the line, because say you're playing a song like "Hey Joe" by Jimi Hendrix.
Yep.
There's a certain amount of note replication that has to happen in that opening lick.
Yes.
In order for people to go, this is Hey Joe. Does it have to be note for note? I would argue not.
Yeah.
But there are, so you have to be able to walk this balance beam of my own interpretation, but I'm not trying to do a whole new painting at this point.
Well, also paying homage to the
right. I'm looking at Hey Joe
original.
And I'm painting a picture of Hey Joe.
Yes.
I would akin it to then there is the songs we do, like Ring of Fire, where it's it doesn't sound anything like Ring of Fire. The melody even varies.
The lyrics are the same.
The lyrics are the same. And I would liken that to, somebody like Salvador Dali, who looks at a forest and paints an army of creatures that are maybe like windmills with hats and weird things. You know what I mean? So it's how far do you take it?
Right. It's not a forest anymore. But it is.
My favorite painting was favorite painter was always Monet, and I thought it was just beautiful how he could paint water lilies, and you knew it was water lilies, but if you were to take any brush stroke or it's amazing, the abstract of it, but then the beauty of the abstract is just, it creates its own beauty. I could take a paintbrush and say I was painting water lilies, and it would look like me doing a really bad job of painting water lilies. You might know what it is, but it doesn't have the artistic beauty that he does when he has it. So I think it's it's another art form almost all into itself to be able to. And people would argue, did he study and get that way? Was there something or was it something in his makeup that's how he saw the water lily and that's how he recreated it? And I think I talk a lot about in music how.
Or was his vision really bad?
Yeah, right. Maybe that's just how he saw it in his mind's eye. When you think
maybe
about...
when he squinted because it was really bright outside, he's like, oh, I'm going to redo this.
Well, it's it's a fine line and it's a beauty. How do you add your own personality and character to your art, whether it be music or painting, and it's I think that you look at somebody like that and you compare him to somebody like Van Gogh, who was
completely
in the same time period.
But still impressionistic.
Very, very abstract in an impressionistic type of way, and where there's a certain beauty. I think in Monet it has a certain beauty of how he sees the world. And in Van Gogh there's a certain almost a troubling view, or there's an edge to it.
There is an edge. I would say a vibrancy that has.
It's
an emotion to it.
It's a harshness, but a beautiful harshness.
Yes.
It's beauty and pain type of thing.
Yeah,
is how I would describe
it's love.
Van Gogh.
It's he painted love.
Yeah, it's to me, it's a really I've never the way, and of course art touches everybody different to me, but it's it is a beauty and pain type of thing, And I think that music can be very much the same way, we've talked a lot about things being angsty or this way.
There are a more impressionistic,
song,
a softer, more pastel song.
Sure.
Versus that hard edge, thick globs of paint with vivid, dark and bright color contrast. Yeah. That in music I can hear.
Well, one of the things that always, and I didn't really draw the connection until we did the song in some ways, is Amy Lee doing the My Immortal and the Evanescence stuff when she came out. I remember at the time thinking okay, she has a very clear, crystalline quality to her voice, put with this really hard rock guitar.
a contrast.
It's such a contrast.
It was an amazing contrast.
And it was like something that I didn't see a lot in that style of music at the time. You know, and it was like, wow. You know, and much like, you know, the jam band, a lot of times for our stuff, I have a similar feeling about you. Like, I don't see like an immediate comparison, because it's like, I think about the jam bands, and you think about like the Dead, and like a lot. First of all, the female fronted bands in this genre are very slim, hard to find.
Right.
But then also you
got Susan Tedeschi. I could name right off the top of my head.
Well, she's very bluesy, and they're almost more of a blues. They got like more of a blues funk thing going on.
Almost, I don't know. They got a touch of world thrown in there too.
Music,
yeah,
and all that. And of course, like we have a lot of genres that we pull into, like the jam band styling. But it's almost like, you know, the quality of your voice and the way that it fits with the music creates something new. And I think that's why a lot of people have a hard time labeling our originals.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
which is okay by me.
I kind of revel in that. It's hard to define.
It's a mark of.
I like it.
It's a compliment when people don't understand it. Honestly.
Yeah. Yes.
Because that means, and like I've said many times, I like it. If everybody hated what we did, then I would be sad. But when people don't like what we do, that is in a way a compliment of its own, because to feel strongly enough about something that you form an opinion is like, if I listen to mediocre music, like, and it's not on the radio because there's not a lot of it on there, but like, you know, I mean, it may be in its own way, you know, or stuff I don't like. I'm not talking about stuff that I don't care for or taste. I'm talking about like mediocrity, like not being able to perform on their instrument very well, singing out of key, that type of thing. You know, which some people may say in the comments, we can't perform in key or sound very bad, and that's
stay out
fine.
of the comments.
That's
if you can't say anything nice,
right?
Stay out of there.
But
we don't need that kind of energy.
My thing is, when I listen to the mediocrity like that, I don't feel the need to comment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It hasn't moved me enough. It hasn't moved my needle enough.
You just move along.
I just move along in my life.
Yeah.
You know, I listen to a few seconds and I move along, you know? So I think that...
I find myself, especially if it's a video of something or a live performance of something, I find myself cheerleading them to be better.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I'm like, oh, you got this. You got this. Like, just a little extra tuning on that guitar, or you know what, just a little extra breath work, or I give them every benefit of the doubt. Like, oh, it's hot outside. I get that. You need some water or a fan or something.
Well, in live performances, nobody's going to be perfect all the time.
No, you shouldn't be. You
listen to the greatest artists of all time, and they were never perfect. You know, and that's one of the things about modern music that kind of irritates me, is that when things are too perfect, then it doesn't sound human anymore. And it goes back to this impressionistic painting. Yeah. It's like, or like, it goes back to my view on the photorealism. It's like, it's amazing that it can be so perfect. But when it comes to like the human voice or inflection in guitar notes or inflection in vocals, it's too perfect. And when it comes to inflection of drums, it's the humanality in music that brings it beautiful. It's the humanality in painting that makes it beautiful. So
let me loop around to this realism thing, because I had a question for you. So I follow some people who do hyper realistic pencil work. Mm-hmm. They're pencil drawings. They do, by the time they're done, and this is hours and hours and hours and hours of up close work with pencils. Mm-hmm. But by the time they're done, their pencil work looks like a black and white photograph. It looks like a photograph of whatever they're doing, a dog or a person. But following them, if I looked at that piece of art, I would think,
oh, it's a photo.
It's a photo. But having watched the process, super impressed. It's amazing.
Yeah, watching the process.
Do you think watching the process
I think it's fascinating.
Affects your opinion of the outcome?
To me, personally, no. Like, because I can watch, you know, and I watch people on YouTube, like sometimes like guitar instructors or how to do this, and they'll play a song to perfection.
Right.
And I'm like, that's pretty impressive.
They did that.
They did that.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Am I going to go buy their version of Comfortably Numb over Pink Floyd's version of Comfortably Numb?
No.
You know, and it kind of comes down, the pencil work may be a little bit different to me. Like, when it comes to visual art, like most of it hangs on subject matter, you know, and if it was moving enough in its framing and subject matter, then I don't think
it would matter if it was a photo.
I don't think it would matter whether it was a photo or a pencil drawing. But like,
because photographs
but
can
then when
be
it comes
really
to
moving.
all of that, like for instance, like if you're going to take a picture and frame it perfectly, and so you got the perfect frame, and then you were to recreate it on pencil, like, you know what I'm saying, to the point that it looked just like the picture.
Yes.
Like, what is the difference at that point? Like, I'd be fine with the photo, and it's so much more work to do the pencil drawing. And it's a shame because a person spent a ton of time on that. So to say that, it's like, but like, I almost feel like, so you're replicating a photo, right?
Right.
And it's like, when you replicate something to perfection, where is your personality in that? And I guess that's what...
I think it's your medium at that point. Your medium's a little different.
But what I like about art is being able to see the personality of the person. You know, like, for instance... Like
maybe it is the subject matter.
So
like, they chose their dog.
Like
a photo of their dog.
But they're at a point, like, if you're replicating something to perfection, have you not removed your own personality from the equation and become almost like we've talked about AI in the past, you know, right? It's like you're... I don't want to diminish anybody's skills because the skill is amazing. But to me, I just don't understand it. You know, like, I buy art and music because of the way their personality is portrayed in the music. It touches me. And I think a lot of people do that. That's why they say you never want to meet your heroes because you'll be disappointed. Like, you are feeling something that they made you feel, like, because of their, you know, supposed personality. Or their, basically, you know, your views towards them.
Like what you've kind of projected onto them.
You've projected onto them because of the way their art has made you feel. But that doesn't mean that's the way
they felt while they were making that art.
You know what I mean? So I think that personality in art is a major motivator for a lot of people. You know, people talk about, like, you know, like one of our favorite bands, The Grateful Dead. You know, they talk about how Jerry, when he sings, you know, his voice cracks and he goes out of key and all this, but he sounds honest. A lot of people say that about it. Like, he sounds honest, you know.
Authentic.
He didn't play cards and lose all his money.
Yeah.
You know, he
told the story.
He didn't kill a man in Mexico.
Yeah.
You know, but he told the story and you believe it because
that was
his personality's coming through. You know what I mean? Yeah. So either way.
Well, he wasn't in nuclear fallout.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You know, he took these songs and he made you believe them.
Right.
You know,
he was a really good actor.
When I look at Monet and I see a bridge over a pond and the lily pads in there, I feel it. Like, I can feel, like, the breeze on a warm summer day of standing on that bridge and seeing the fish in the pond and hearing the frogs. I believe it. You know what I mean? Even though it doesn't look like a photo at all, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like, but I feel it. More than I feel it in a picture. Like, in a picture, almost, like, because our eyes see so much, maybe, and our ears hear so much, that it takes, like, a personality or a caricature of something or, like, a twist on what reality is to make us really pay attention, maybe.
That's what I was going to ask. Are you moved by photography?
I am, but a lot of it has to do with framing, lighting, and things that make you pay attention to things you normally wouldn't, you know, and I'm not...
So you want things... You don't want a perfectly framed thing. You would rather have a bit that would catch your attention.
They have all these rules for photography. Like,
I know.
It's a rule of thirds, they call it, so you're not supposed to frame anything in the center. You're supposed to frame it in the right third or the left third, so that the center, and then the top third and bottom third. So you... Basically, that's why when you look at cameras... It's divided into a grid of 9 sectors, right? So where the sectors cross, so you can picture it, it's like a tic-tac-toe board, right? But with rectangles instead of squares. So where the sectors cross are where you're supposed to put the subject matter's eyes.
Interesting. Okay, so I knew there were rules.
And that's supposed to be more appealing.
I just didn't know what they were.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that's more appealing to the eye.
Okay.
So for whatever reason, like, because a perfectly framed photo, it's like...
Your brain can kind of cancel it out and move on.
In nature, like, the human rule of the brain is that we want order. So we want everything to look symmetrical.
Yeah.
Right? People often, like, we've been in landscaping and we know there's an art form to that.
Yes.
Like, people often want a square bed.
Which is so weird to me.
But then when they want a square bed, nobody likes it because it's so foreign to nature.
It's not a natural looking thing.
The way to actually lay out a good garden bed is to actually lay a garden hose on the ground and snake it out like how you want it, and then dig it, not put a straight line.
Free advice.
Yeah. So that's why like the sidewalks and the roads and the driveways are an assault on our nature. It looks man-made. It's like it's thrust upon us.
Yeah. It's just not part of a natural.
No, if you look at a tree,
anything.
Why is a straight tree so valuable for lumber? Because you want straight boards. But why is it valuable? Because you can't always get a good straight tree unless you take care of it and prune all the trees.
Stake it.
Limbs, stake it. Grow it a certain way. It's got to be a certain type of lumber.
Yeah.
All this type of thing. You look at most trees that grow naturally, like at least around our property, every one, I don't think you'd be hard pressed to get a 10-foot board out of it.
They're really wonky.
Yeah.
Except for the cedars. The cedars are pretty okay, I guess. Yeah.
Hence,
cedar.
So it's a part of the country we live in. But anyhow, I think good subject matter today. I like it.
Yeah.